Yeah, we'll just start. Let me shut the door. So welcome to Fridays with the Ear. My name is Ginenthal. I teach in the ear training department. I've been teaching in the department. This is in my 21st year teaching at Berklee. I also teach in the voice department. And I haven't for a while, but I taught in the ensemble department as well. So how many of you are at Berklee for your first semester? How many of you are freshmen? Okay, usually this particular Fridays with the Ear about Moveable Do gets lots more of the first semester students because of what it's about. But hopefully for those of you that are also have been here for longer than that, can I just see how many of you are in ear training 2? And how many in 3? And how many, the rest of you are in 4 or 1?
I'm in 2.
You're in 2?
Yeah.
That's okay, that's okay. Okay. All right. So the idea of Moveable Do, which is the technique of solfege syllables that we use at Berklee, can really be challenging, especially if you've never used it before, or if you've only used syllables in the context of where C is do and D is re, where they're really more note names than functions. Where at Berklee our syllables that we use are really more functional than they are having to do with a note name, right? It's almost like numbers. We could have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but the only problem with that is that then, it makes it harder when you have to have a raised 1 or a flat 3. It makes it much more cumbersome with numbers. So that's why we use what used to be more of traditional type of fixed do solfege syllables with the one change from C actually to T. The 7th scale degree in traditional fixed do is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, which all of you know, or most of you know at this point, that the si in Moveable Do is actually sharped 5, right? So that's why we had to change it from C to T. So I'm just going to give you some ideas about ways of getting, first of all, more fluent with solfege in general, solfege fluency, so that you feel more confident with syllables in general. We're going to talk a little bit about actually pitch or note name fluency as well, which is something that you'll find helpful not just in ear training but also in your harmony classes or any of your writing classes where you have to deal with notation of any kind. We have to think about note names. And we'll also talk a little bit about actually moving from one key to another, so some modulation. And then we'll also talk a little bit about how to deal with all this stuff on the staff, which is usually, for a lot of people, that's really the big issue, is, Moveable Do, but then I have to deal with it on the staff. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest is we're going to start just with stepwise motion, okay? So I'm sure all of you can right now say for me the major scale up and down with syllables. So do that for me. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Good. That doesn't take a lot of brain power, I hope, at this point. You don't have to work that hard. Okay. Now, let's try doing the same thing, but let's try doing it with note names as well. So we'll start off easily. We'll start off with the key of C. All right? Let's say the note names for those do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do will go a little slower up and down, starting with C. Here we go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Good. Let's add some accidentals. Let's go to the key of F. Okay, key of F. All right? So here we go. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B flat.
A, G, F.
Yeah, good. All right, let's try 2 accidentals. Let's do the key of D, okay? D,
E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D.
Beautiful. And you can practice doing that. Try doing that in all keys by step till the point where you really feel like, just like when you say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that you don't have to think so hard about it. Okay, so that's first step. The next step, which in a way is similar, but it's the thirds. Okay, so what we're going to do is, right now, I'm assuming that you may not be as confident with the syllables of thirds as you were with the stepwise motion. So we're going to start from do. We're going to go up by thirds, and we're just going to keep repeating do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol. Just keep doing it. Okay? So we're going to start off slowly and gradually get it going faster. All right? So, I don't know. Oh, somebody's recording that. Okay. So I'll count off 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, 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 do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do. Good. Let's try descending now, from do going down. All right? So same thing. Here we go. Do, la, fa, re, ti, sol, mi. 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 Do, la, fa, re, ti, sol. Beautiful. Good. So, by practicing that, you're going to have less issue with knowing what thirds are, right? What the thirds are in terms of syllables. What's the third above mi? Sol. What's the third below la? What's the third below ti? What's the third above of re? What's the third above ti? Yeah, so the idea of this is that you don't have to think so hard about what those thirds are, okay? And we can relate that to the lines and spaces, which we're going to do later, okay? Now you can also do that same step, and this is where it's going to be extremely helpful, say for harmony classes or writing classes in general. You can also use that same step to say note names in different keys, because then you know how to build chords, right, with note names. So first, can we just do a little bit ascending just in the key of C? Let's say the thirds in the key of C, going up first. C, E, G, B, D, F, A, C. Good, let's do the same thing going down. C,
A, F, D, B, G, E, C.
Yeah, so a little bit more challenging for some of you, okay? Can we try the same thing in the key of F? All right, try the same thing in the key of F a little slower. F,
A, C, E, G, B flat, D,
F. Let's go back down.
F, D, B flat, G, E, C, A, F.
Yeah, so that you can also, those same steps that I suggested, but with stepwise motion, you should also practice in all the keys. Practice the thirds. That's going to be extremely helpful, not just for ear training, but really helpful for your harmony classes, because it'll make it much easier for you to write chords based on diatonic pitches in whatever the key is that you're writing in. Okay? All right. Good. So now we did steps, we did thirds. Let's talk about fourths and fifths. So cycle 4 is, if I start from do and I go up by fourths, do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. Okay? If I go down by fifths, cycle 5, do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. Right? Going down by fifths, talking about diatonic pitches. So the easiest way to think of cycle 4 and cycle 5 sort of together is with this tone set. Do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. So if we went up to do, fa, perfect fourth, or do, fa, perfect fifth, whichever direction we decide we want to go in, it's either fourths or fifths. So if you know this progression, do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do, you also know all your fourths and all of your fifths syllables. Again, where that relates to the staff, if you have a space and 2 lines, that's a fourth, or a line and 2 spaces, that's a fourth, right? And fifths are always either a line to the 3rd line or a space to the 3rd space, right? And vice versa, okay? So if you know this, when you see those relationships on the staff, it becomes much easier. So do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. Can we just, I'm going to erase it, okay, and see if you can remember it. We'll go slow. Here we go. Do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. Go do that again. Do, fa, ti, mi, la, re, sol, do. So that cycle 4, cycle 5 is also going to be really helpful for you for, again, fourths and fifths when you're dealing with movable do. It's also ultimately can help you with remembering your secondary dominant relationships, because sol, do is a perfect fourth going up, or sol, do is a perfect fifth going down. So all of our secondary dominants are moving either from a fourth below or from a fifth above and resolving, right? So by knowing this cycle 4, cycle 5 syllable or tone ladder, it can help you also with that as well. Okay, so you can also, I'm not going to take time right now to do it, but you can do the same thing with note names in different keys through cycle 4, cycle 5. Okay, you can actually use that as well to get better at thinking about, okay, what's the perfect fourth away from whatever pitch. Okay? All right, good. Now, so that we've pretty much covered all possibilities, because when we talk about steps, we're also dealing with sevenths, right? Because seconds invert to sevenths. Those are a little harder to see on the staff, but in terms of the syllable, they're the same, right? And thirds invert to sixths. So again, we have that relationship too. And then fourths and fifths. So we did steps, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and sevenths. And then all we have left is octaves, which is do to do, re to re, mi to mi. So not, should not be a huge issue, except for dealing with it where it can be a real problem on the staff. Okay? So now, one way to get really quickly good at your solfege fluency is to practice descending sequences. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to use this tone ladder. Okay, so it's fa and all the way down to low la. And we're going to talk about 4 different descending sequences that will help you get quickly much better at your solfege, at just the solfege fluency. The first one is a tetrachord exercise by step. Okay, so we'll use this rhythm. In 4/4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to start from the top. Fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, mi. Okay? Let's do it once with the tone ladder. All right? And then we'll try it without it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, mi. Re, do, ti, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, ti, do, re, do. Beautiful. Let's try it without the tone ladder and see how you do. Okay? So a little slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, ti, do, re, do. Good. And just ending on do. Okay? Good. Now, what you can do with this is get it going as fast as you can. Can we try it again from the fa a little faster? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Fa, mi, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, ti, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Let's start it again. Let's try it a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Fa, mi, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, ti, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol. Good. So again, just that simple exercise, practicing it at a comfortable tempo and gradually getting it going more and more quickly is going to get you more fluent with your solfege syllables. Okay? Now, the next exercise, same tetrachords, same rhythm, but we're going to add thirds into it. So same tone set, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. This one is going to be fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa. Actually, so that's not fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa. Yes, it is. Fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi. Let's try it, okay? All right, we'll use the tone ladder. Here we go. Fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi, re, ti, do, la, ti, do, la, ti, sol, la, ti, do, ti, sol, la, fa, sol, la, ti, la, fa, sol, mi, fa, sol, mi, fa, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, re, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi, re, ti, do, la, ti, do, re, do. Could we try it just once without the tone ladder? We'll go a little slower, okay? All right, because you'll have to use your brain. You won't be able to do it on automatic pilot, okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi, re, ti, do, la, ti, do, re, do, la, ti, sol, la, ti, do, ti, sol, la, fa, sol, la, ti, la, fa, sol, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, mi, fa, sol, fa, re, mi, do, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, mi, re, ti, do, la, ti, do, re, do. Beautiful. And again, same thing. Fa, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi, practicing it at a faster tempo. Now that thirds, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, la, do, mi, sol, ti, re, fa, that we did should help you with an exercise like this, okay? The last one, so now we had a stepwise motion one, we had one with thirds, and now let's do one that has fourths in it. And we're going to change the rhythm slightly. We're going to do eighth, quarter, eighth, and two quarters, not 2/8, sorry. 2 quarters. It's basically the same, actually, it's not. It's from here. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, I believe is how we have to do it. And it will be do, sol, la, ti, do, sol, la, ti, fa, sol, la, mi, fa, sol. Okay, so again, our fourths, all right? Can we try this? Let's do it once with the tone ladder, and then we'll try it once without it. Here we go. Do, sol, la, ti, fa, sol, la, sol, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, ti, do, re, la, ti, do, sol, la, ti, do, and just ending on the do going up. Okay, let's try it once. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, I did it wrong. It should be do, sol, la, ti, do. So we do go up and then back down again. I'm sorry. So it might make it actually easier. So let's try it. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Do, sol, la, ti, do, ti, fa, sol, la, ti, la, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, do, re, mi, fa, mi, ti, do, re, mi, re, la, ti, do, do, sol, la, ti, do. Okay? So that covers steps, thirds, and fourths. And you can also, we haven't been singing any of these, but you could also practice, instead of just with syllables, fa, re, mi, fa, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, mi as well. You can also do them with pitch in a key that's comfortable for you to do them, okay? So that if you also want to work on the pitch structure, you can also do that, okay? So all of that is about solfege fluency, which is hugely important. If your fluency is good in solfege, everything else about Moveable Do will come much more easily for you, okay? Now, let's actually do some Moveable Do. So, here's Do. Sing a major scale up and down. Beautiful. Sing Fa Mi. Ti Do at the bottom. Re Do. Sol Do from the top down. The high La Sol. Beautiful. Sol Do from the bottom up. The low La Sol. Re Do. Ti Do at the top. Sol Do from the top up. And while you're up there, the high Re Do. Once more, Fa Mi. And Ti Do at the bottom again. Beautiful. So we're in the key of C. I want to go to the key of D. What syllable is D in the key of C? Re. So where's the Re? Call this Do now. Do. Sing Re Do. Ti Do. Sol Do from the bottom. From the top down. Good. Fa Mi. And Re Do again. Beautiful. I want to go to the key of F. All right? I want to go to the key of F. What is D, which is the key we were just in? What is D in the key of F? La, right? It's La, not A, okay? It's La. So can you sing for me La, Sol, La, Ti, Do from this pitch of D? La, Sol, La, Ti. And now we're in the key of F. Sing Sol, Do from the bottom. From the top down. Fa Mi above. Re Do. The low La Sol. And Ti Do again. Good, so I'm in the key of F. I want to go to the key of B flat. What is F in the, or let's put it this way, what is B flat in the key of F? Fa. So here's Do, sing the high Fa. Sing Fa Mi. Fa. Good, don't sing the Mi, don't sing the Mi, sing Fa again. Fa. Call it Do. Do. Sing it a lower octave. Do. Sing Re Do. Ti Do at the bottom. Fa Mi. La Sol. Beautiful. And Re Do again at the bottom. Good. Let's go now to the key of, we're in the key of B flat. All right. Let's go to the key of E flat. What is B flat in the key of E flat? Sol. So can you sing for me Sol, La, Ti, Do from this original Do? Sol, La. Sing Re Do. Ti Do. Sol Do from the top down. Fa Mi. Re Do. good. Let's go back to the key of C now. Okay, we're in E flat. What is C in the key of E flat? La. So can you sing Do, Ti, La for me? Do, Ti, La. Call this Do. Do. And now we are back in the key of C. Now you can also go through all of those steps, and we use tendency tone pairs just because those are relatively easy for most of you, regardless of the level of ear training that you're in at this point, hopefully. But you can also do individual pitches as well instead. So in other words, singing Sol, Mi, Ti, Re, Sol, right? You can also do that with note names, right? You can also do that with note names, and you can, I would suggest when you're doing that exercise that you would do it with pitch. So here's the C. Sing the F for me. Say F and sing the F. Sing the E. Sing the B. Sing the D. Sing the G. Beautiful. Sing the C again. Beautiful. Let's go back to the key of E flat. We're in the key of C. All right. Let's think La. But now we're going to, instead of saying La, you're going to sing from C, you're going to sing the notes La, Ti, Do into E flat, but with note names. C, D, E flat. Beautiful. Sing for me the A flat. What syllable is it?
La.
In the key of E flat?
Oh, Fa.
Fa. So, okay, so where's the A flat? A flat. Beautiful. The G. D. Good. F. E flat. Okay, so again, the same type of thing, having to deal with what you already hopefully are feeling relatively confident with now, just either diatonic pitches or tendency tone pairs. Try doing them where you're actually thinking of note names. Okay? Now, why note names? For two reasons. One, you need to know when you're looking at the staff, you do ultimately need to know what the pitch is that you're looking at, especially if you're an instrumentalist that plays a pitched instrument, right? It's great if you know that you're looking at Sol, but then if you have to play it on your instrument, you have to know what note is Sol, right? So that you can play the note right. You might hear the pitch, you might hear it because you can hear where the Sol is, but you also have to transfer that information to a note name as well. So that's why it's important. And right now, we're dealing with it away from your instrument, and we're dealing with it away from the staff. Yes?
So I was trained to use only the solfege notes as notes. So
Right. So at Berklee,
so I have no,
you can use the syllables. The only problem is it can get very confusing for you because you have to think two different ways all the time. So if you can...
You mean one Sol is another Sol?
Right.
It's confusing. So it's
Yes.
better learn the... Okay.
Yeah, it's, you're just, you're learning a new language.
Okay.
That's really how you have to look at it. So what you can do is, think of syllables now for you at Berklee are function, like I said. Do is 1, Re is 2, Mi is 3. They're functions. They're not the name of the note. The name of the note is C, D, E, F, G, sharp, whatever it is, right? They're the note names. So those are the two ways that you want to. One of them is strictly for getting your ear working. The syllables are really strictly for ear work. The syllables are the notes are for actually playing pitches and knowing what pitches you are singing or playing, either or writing for that matter. You know, you want to be able to hear, when you're looking at a piece of music, to be able to hear what's actually there notated as actual notes, right? And or if you're, let's say, you know, you're doing, you're playing with another person and you're mirroring each other or you're improvising off of each other, you need to know what actual notes you might hear, you know, do, sol, fi, la, whatever, you know, the person plays. And then you have to be able to translate that very quickly to actual pitches on your instrument. So that's why all of these, this is all like away from instruments right now and the staff and all of that. But then you need to then apply it to your instruments. There's actually going to be 2 Fridays with the Ear. Both Paul Del Nero and Alan Chase are going to do Fridays with the Ear specifically geared to applying ear training to your instrument. So that would be something that would really get more involved in that. The next thing that we're going to talk about, though, is taking all this information now and applying it to the frightening lines and spaces that everybody's horrified of. So, some of you may, if you've been to any of the ear training orientations at the beginning of semester, how many of you have gone to ear training orientation? Yeah, so you've seen me before if you've done that, because I'm usually the person that's doing them. You'll recognize these 2 steps that I'm going to show you that are extremely helpful for dealing with the Moveable Do system, where it's the biggest headache for you, which is lines and spaces, right? This staff that everybody gets freaked out about. So there's 2 exercises that I'm going to really recommend that you practice for just generally getting more confident with Moveable Do. All right, and we're gonna stick with major right now. What I'm going to show you applies to, you know, if you're working on a minor mode, you can use it. If you're working on a mode, if you're in ear training 3. It gets a little more complicated when you're talking about your training 4 and chromatic pitches, because you'll have to actually write those in. So for right now, let's just stick with major. Okay, we'll stick with major. Now, if this is Do, again, there's no clef, there's no key signature, there's no accidentals. This could be a G, this could be a E, this could be any number, it could be an A. It just depends on what clef is in front of it. Okay? Right now, all you know is that is Do, right? Remember I said about fifths. If it's a Do on a line to line to line to line, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti. And that works whether it's the Do here, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, right? Line to line to line, that's the pitch relationship, just like Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, Re, Fa, La, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, Re, Fa, La, Do, right? And then same thing here. If this is Do, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, space, 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 Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, all the spaces, Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, right? Which could also be Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, Re, Fa, La, Do. Do, Mi, Sol, Ti, Re, Fa, La, Do, just like what we were doing before. So once you see these pitch relationships on these lines and spaces, it doesn't necessarily matter what key you're having to deal with, right? Because we're not talking about notes right now, right? Right now we're just strictly talking about syllables, okay, which is really the heart of the difficulty with Moveable Do, one of the biggest difficulties. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pick a Do, and let's make this the Do, okay? And I'm going to have you just say the diatonic major syllable as I write them, all right? So starting with Do, say Do. Do, re, mi, do, sol, fa, re, sol, la, ti, sol, do, sol, fa, la, do, ti, sol, fa, re, mi, do, ti, sol, la, ti, do. Good, let's do another one. All right, so let's do a space. Let's do this as the do. All right, and once again, it could be any number of pitches because we don't know until we put something in front of it that tells us whether that's an A, whether it's a C, whether it's a B. Really don't know until we have something in front of it. So once again, so this is our do. Say do. Do, mi, fa, re, mi, sol, ti, la, do, la, ti, sol, fa, re, mi, do, sol, la, ti, sol, do, fa, mi, la, I'm sorry, sol, sorry.
Fa, mi, sol, la, ti, sol, ti, do, sol, mi, do.
Good. So this is called, I just call this write and say, because that's what you're doing. You just take a piece of manuscript paper, and on each line of the, or each staff, you practice writing and saying the notes. And you can, each staff, you just change where the do is, change where the do is, change where the do is. And like I said, you can also practice this with, say, okay, I'm in natural minor, all right? If I'm in natural minor, what are my syllables going to be? Do, me, fa, re, me, sol, te, le, do, le, te, sol, le, fa, re, me, do, etc. Okay, so any mode, any scale, right? You could even do scales that are normally have accidentals in them just to practice the syllables. For example, like a harmonic minor scale, okay, where we normally have the raised 7th scale degree. You can just say, okay, I'm assuming it's a raised 7th scale degree, and I'm just going to say it as T instead of te, right? So, so that's another thing. Now, you could also practice this with singing the pitches. You could also decide to practice, if you wanted to, if you wanted to get better at reading and looking and thinking about note names, you could also do the same skill with note names, but you'd have to put a clef and a key signature in front of it. Let's do this right now. We'll keep the one that's up there, okay? And here's do. Sing a major scale up and down again. Can you sing down through the lower tetrachord, do down to sol and back to do? Beautiful. Can we try singing it now instead of just saying the syllables? So, do, mi, fa, re, mi, sol, ti, la, do, la, ti, sol, la, fa, re, mi, do, etc. Okay, so you can do the process both without singing, which is write and sing, or with singing, which is, write and say, or with singing, which is write and sing. Okay? Now, in your ear training book, depending on which workbook you have, it's either page, I believe, 9, 10, or 11 in your book, there's something that says a practice technique for sight reading. Two of those steps are going to be extremely helpful for you when you have a melody. It's step 2, which would be saying the syllables of the melody out of time. So let's pretend this is a melody and that there's actually rhythm, okay? There's quarter notes, there's eighth notes, maybe there's even 16th notes. We would ignore the rhythm and just say each syllable one after the other. And do that as many times as you need to until you feel really confident that you have the syllables down. The next step would be, and I think this is the most important step that you would work on when you're trying to learn a melody, and that is saying the syllables, but saying them in time. So it's like you're doing the rhythm, which means you're also going to conduct, okay? So it means you're going to actually say the syllables. The only thing that's going to be missing is the pitch, right? And again, that will get, if you can get this correct syllable in the correct place in terms of time, usually the right pitch will come out of your face after it, right? If you know you're looking at sol, you're much more likely to sing it than if you're looking at a pitch and you're like, I have no idea what that is, right? If you know it's sol, well, you have, a pretty good chance of singing the pitch accurately if you know what sol sounds like, right? So those two steps are steps you can use within the context of your homework assignments, your melodic homework assignments, to practice your movable do. Okay? You can also, once again, for those of you that are, especially for those of you that are instrumentalists, but this would be helpful for vocalists too, is going through even just the first step, saying the note names, because then you're translating that to where you're actually able to apply it to your instrument as well. Okay, so it's kind of, there's the issue of solfege, which is one issue. There's the issue of syllable. There's the issue of pitch. There's all these different, there's the issue of notation itself, having to deal with reading notation. So all of these steps that I've shown you, all these different things, are all different ways of getting this movable do system incorporated into your practice so that eventually you have to practice the skill less because it will keep getting better. Every time you practice a melody in the key of F with just saying the syllables in time and going through these steps that you practice, the next time you look at a melody in F in the same clef, it's going to be that much easier because the F's always going to be in the same place in that clef, right? And once you start to see those relationships, the thing that students get really nervous about, I find, is, a lot of times vocalists get really nervous about bass clef. Cover it up, look at the lines and spaces, and there's nothing to be nervous about because you're not having to think about notes when you're doing solfege, right? You're just having to think about syllables. So it will also make you less afraid of having to deal with reading in different clefs as well, which is also why I would highly stress, especially if your instrument involves having to read in more than one clef, I would highly recommend that you practice saying the note names as well. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for all of you. It's a lot of little skills that you can practice and work on, and you will quickly see improvement in your movable do skills and a bunch of other skills that you're actually working on in your ear training classes, and as well as helpful, like I said, it will be helpful in your writing, especially harmony classes, particularly the note name work that you do. So thank you for coming. Next week, Scott Diogren is going to be doing a Fridays with the Ear on using the internet and the Class Reserves website as a place for practice. So I would really recommend, if you can, coming back to that. So thank you very much, and have a lovely afternoon and a good weekend, and maybe it'll stop raining. Thank you.